is Scott Beardsley's passion. It is his way of serving others. For over 35 years, Scott has been helping business leaders build great companies by providing high-performance talent, something that gives him great satisfaction, all while creating a positive experience for everyone involved. Scott possesses strong sourcing capabilities. I know that, he's been around for a while. Leadership management experience, and can build high-performance recruiting teams from scratch. In addition to helping companies find talent, Scott loves to work with those seeking help and assistance in navigating today's challenging job market. You can catch Scott playing live music around Austin with his band, Hector Ward and The Big Time. And he's the ultimate Austinite. He recruits by day and rocks out by night. So please welcome Scott Beardsley for his presentation, How Thinking Like a Headhunter Can Help You Compete in Today's Complicated Job Market. Take it away, Scott.
All right. That was way too long. But that's off my LinkedIn, so that's from a few years back. I got to shorten that up a little bit now that I heard.
Oh, it's fine.
All right, so anyway, thinking like a headhunter, I thought it would give you an alternate perspective of things, because believe it or not, what we do for a living is what I would do for myself if I was looking for work, and it's all going to transfer into this presentation. Okay, but before we even go there, I thought I'd like to start off by just asking a question: is what even is a headhunter? Do you all know?
Or a headhunter?
Is that spelled right? Here, I went to Pittsburgh. I'm not smart. That's why I'm a headhunter. Does anyone know? What is one?
Like a real estate agent for people.
It's like a real estate agent for people. I like that. The reason I like that is because it brings in the concept of brokering two parties to come together to make something happen. Whereas if I were a salesman, I just got to sell the computer and it's going where I tell it to go. Bringing two people together is a whole different story. Who else? Yeah?
An agent that helps people connect clients with job seekers.
Pretty much. Close. These are all close.
An advocate.
An advocate? Sort of. See, and this is all great because all that's true. But when the door's closed, I'm none of that. I am trying to get money from that company's bank account and put it in mine. I have a single-minded focus. I'm not trying to advocate anyone. I'm not trying to help you get a better life. I'm trying to do my job as best I can. I'm competitive. I want to be the best headhunter on the planet. So how does that help you all? Because there's badasses like me out there doing headhunting. But what does that even mean to be a headhunter? Here's why I say that. There are placement advocates that sit down with candidates, get to know them at a rich level, and become their advocate and try to place them in jobs. Does that make sense? Career counselors, placement consultants. What about a corporate recruiter? Is that a headhunter? They wouldn't, I would smash them in a second. I mean, they have no idea what we do for a living in headhunter world. Corporate recruiting, what do you think they do? We call it post and pray. Post and pray.
They're more like what I said about going for jobs and people be like, you're more like what you said, because I actually.
Or hunting heads, basically. Yeah?
They may be looking to poach employees from one company for their company.
A headhunter, for sure. A corporation would never do that. Oh my God, I'm not going to call that company. That's so wrong. Let me do business with them. Oh yeah? Well, I'll do it then. For $20,000, I'll poach anybody. See? I know I'm starting to sound a little funny here because I'm not like the others where I'm going to give you a bunch of counseling on how to interview and stuff. That's not me.
I like your attitude.
Okay.
You're keeping it real, what it is on the other side.
Yes, because who are you dealing with? People on the phone are telling you what they want. They close the door, and here's what they're doing. They're trying to make money. I remind you, I'm on straight commission. And there's times in my life I made over $500,000 a year placing people straight commission. There's times where I made $24,000. And there's times when I made 6,000. And, you know, it's been wobbly, but it hasn't been in the last 20 years, none of that, that's for sure. I'm talking about in the beginning. So let me start in the beginning. What is a headhunter? Headhunter. Because I didn't even know. Again, let's go back in time. Quick story. I am in the University of Pittsburgh. I went there because I was chasing my girlfriend. I didn't even know why I wanted to go to that college. But she went there, so I went there. And my dad was in steel, so I said, I want to be a metallurgical engineer. Well, as soon as I saw there was something called a computer science degree, I went straight into that and got a computer science degree. All the while I was playing music, got a recording contract the day I graduated, moved to San Antonio and started recording music. And I said, okay, I'm going to be a rock star. I don't care. I'm not going to get my computer science degree. Just done. I did that off to play music. Well, what I didn't know is you didn't get paid to play music. So I was having a blast living on the floor of a studio and living that whole life and partying my brains out. Then I said one day, I better get a job. So I got a job because I answered an ad in the paper said, sports-minded people. I thought, oh, that sounds like a fun job. Went in there and it was a bill collections job. Now, if anyone ever did bill collections, hey, it's a job. God bless everybody. But they told me, get on the phone. You have to make 100 calls a day. And you have to they're just going to auto dial me, man. I'm just banging these calls out. American Express debts. Hearing hard luck stories all day long. Talking to people about $50 a month post-dated checks. I'm like, man, what? And then one day my sister called me and said, and this is the day when no cell phones or anything, rotary phone, no voicemail machines. The phone was ringing at my girlfriend's house, and how'd she know her number? So that's funny too. But I picked up the phone and said, hey, what's going on? It was my sister Kathy. She just got a job as a headhunter, and she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just drearily making 100 calls a day, beating up people for post-dated checks for American Express debts. She said, that's funny. I'm making 100 calls a day trying to offer people new jobs, headhunting for these companies. I said, what? That's the positive, from the negative to the positive. I said, put me in. The next day, she goes, you understand a straight commission? I said, I don't care. I don't want to do this another second. You know, so I went in, and I was newly married. Molly's parents thought I was nuts. I picked up my wife, moved out, U-Haul to Los Angeles, stayed on my sister's couch, got a straight commission job, and on day one, they said, here's your job. You're a headhunter. And I said, okay, what do we do? I said, first you got to get a job order. You have to get something to work on. I said, what the heck's that? They said, a company that needs a product manager. You have to start there. So, well, how am I going to find a company that needs a product manager? They said, well, you could look at all the one ads and stuff and all that, but then you're dealing with the masses. Everyone sees that. He said, or you could just call all these companies that I know that that hire product managers, and just call all the managers of that department and see if they may be thinking about hiring a product manager in the next 30, 60 days, and chit-chat with them. I said, really? I said, what am I going to talk to him about? And he said, here. And he handed me this girl's application. Her name is Carol. And he said, this is her background, read her resume. And I went, beep, 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 beep. All right. She's a 7-year product manager, IBM, background, COBOL in the day. And I said, okay, so who do I call? And he gave me a deck of cards, 5x8 index cards out of a drawer. He went and said, shh, shh. He sat it on my desk. He said, now and by the way, that's the old, that's like an Intel card. So it had the name of a CTO, a product manager, a head of marketing, a head of product, their phone numbers. And all I had to do was blast these phone calls on behalf of this girl, Carol. And so I said, is that it? He said, yeah, go. I said, okay, go. Started off at about 9 that morning. Around 4 that afternoon, I got Carol an interview. And it took that entire day, no lunch. I had $0. Everyone said, you want to go to lunch? I said, I got plans, because that was code for no cash. I'll get it soon. But I just stuck on that phone and just stuck to the gun. Got hung up on 20 times or more. Got blasted, just quit calling me. That didn't stop me. I was like, no, my mission's greater than yours. I'm getting this girl an interview. So by the end of the day, she got this interview. But more importantly, I got the job order for the product person. So now I was in business. I had a customer that said, I will pay you $25,000 if you find me a product manager. He interviewed my girl Carol. Carol didn't want to go to that company. She had other options that were better. And I learned a lot that day, but I got a new customer who gave me a job order. So now the next day, game on. I had to find someone for this person who said, I'll pay you money. I'm thinking, so I'll be able to pay my rent if I find you somebody. That's all you needed to say. Then I said, give me those cards back. And he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm finding this dude. He goes, no, you got to find this other person this job. I said, the hell I do? I said, I'm not finding another person's job. I'm finding this dude a product manager because he's going to pay me. And he said, all right, go for it. So I started blasting down that call again. Now I'm calling everybody else's companies. And I'm talking to their product manager, their product lead, saying, hey, you're a product lead, right? Who's the best product manager you know? I have another customer that's looking. You want to take one of my people? I said, yeah. I didn't know, so I was just innocently pounding. And then, sure enough, you wouldn't believe in the old days you hear, let me shut my door. And you go, I say, talk to me. Yeah, I was thinking about being a product manager myself. Tell me more, man. And next thing you know, I had a candidate. And then I presented that candidate to the manager. The manager said, well, did you know that? I said, why don't you interview him and find out? Stop being so weird. You told me to find you somebody. So we're getting past all that. He did the interview. He said, love this guy. Let's hire him. Made my first commission. That stuck. Like, that's on day 3 of my new straight commission job, walking in thinking I was 10 foot tall. So what does it all come back to is, that's a headhunter. You know, it's a knucklehead. See, can't even spell right, but is willing to get their hands dirty. I mean, finding a job is a dirty job. It's a dirty job. You can take 2 routes. You could post and pray, or you can apply and pray as a job seeker, because that you have to apply. But is there anything else you can do? Do you have to be, you really just, apply and wait, apply and wait, apply and wait? I applied for 20 jobs. So there's got to be something better than just applying, right? Let me put it back in perspective. In 1988, I don't even know if you can apply for a job. I think you had to mail your resume to somebody, you know? And I remember the day they walked in my office and said, we bought you this machine. It's called a fax machine. And it was crazy times. But so times have changed. The modern day job seeker now thinks you wake up, go online, and you apply for 50 jobs. And it's probably true to some extent. But that isn't. If that was what I had to do for a living, I'd go broke. What if all I did on behalf of Woody, if I was going to work for him, is just apply his resume to a bunch of clients and see if they responded? You think that's what a good headhunter would do? A good headhunter I would go down the street, knock on people's doors and say, you've got to talk to this guy named Woody. Do you see that I'm bringing some energy to the equation that just a flat out resume can't, right? It's no different than an employee referral that walks down the hall and says, hey, a friend of mine's looking, I know this person, and this is someone you need to talk to. You see how the cloud is being transferred versus just a raw resume dropping in the chute? Especially with all this talk about AI, I have to tell you as a recruiter, I don't believe anybody's resume anymore. I think you all are just going to write your resume to match every job I got. So I go, whatever, let's just have a conversation. Because I don't believe anything anymore. I've had 20 fraud things go on. I've had 5 fraud interviews. Everyone's just using AI to match everything. But again, that's a little side note. But what I found is you have to bring more. That's the reason I say that is that's why you don't get a lot of responses. You may say, the AI bot's blocking me. No human's doing anything. That's because tons of resumes are just coming in. But 5 referrals came in that day. And I only have so much time in my day, so I'm going to set up interviews with these 3 people that are referrals. I didn't have time to look at these 800 killer humans that could be better. I only have so much time. I want to get this job filled. Scott gave me someone, Shannon referred me someone, Bob down the hall gave me someone. I don't have time to look at these 800 resumes, says the employer. So again, when you're posting, when you're applying, you're really going into a mess. And the headhunter would die if all we could do is have our candidates apply for jobs. And if everyone could just fill their jobs by having postings, why would I even exist? All right, so that's a headhunter. Cool? Not a corporate recruiter, not an advocate. Any good headhunter you talk to is motivated by money. Identifying your most placeable candidate. So the first thing, if you came to work in my firm, I've trained over 500 recruiters. If you looked at my LinkedIn profile, at least 25 of them are vice presidents of corporate talent acquisition and have moved up the ranks. A most placeable candidate, oops, no. Oh yeah, most placeable candidate, an MPC. Unfortunately, if you started with me today as a recruiter and you said, Scott, what do you do? Remember the day when I started? It's a little different, but I'd say, hey Woody, first thing you got to do is identify someone that you are passionate about, a most placeable candidate, someone that you think brings +1, because there's no employer that's going to work with a headhunter for a 0, and especially not a -1. Let me explain. 80% of all of us, probably including me, I like to think of myself as a +1, but it's not important what I think. Most of us are 0s, meaning we do our job, we get paid, everybody's even. Some people do a little bit more, right? They just have, and some people are drainers. You put them into your company, next thing you know, 2 good people quit, productivity's down. All it takes is you don't to believe the human dynamics of this thing. You could have a team working. Look at a sports team. 5 basketball players. Put 1 in there that's selfish. The team can't win. It takes a team kind of a gel thing. So that's real important to identify what makes an NPC. It can't just be, so in your case, you're your NPC. You're your most placeable candidate. You're the one you should be passionate about. You're the one that you should use as your candidate to go get a job order. You're the one that you should be excited about to make 50 calls a day and tell someone, I got to tell you about this cool person. Like, I'll do it for you if you want for $30,000. But what's stopping you from doing it? And that's my whole point. So you're your most placeable candidate while you're on the job market. And when you're not on the job market, you're still your most placeable candidate. You should always be looking for your next job. You should never be loyal to your next employer. Words from a headhunter. Sorry. They're not loyal to you, I promise you. The accountant up the hall doesn't give a rat's ass about you. So look out for you. Now that doesn't mean be a job hopper, because now you just blew it. It just means always be looking. It's best to look for a job when you don't need one. It's best to go to the grocery store when you're not freaking starving. Now, once you establish your most placeable candidate, establish the candidate value proposition. So if you were to get 3 seconds, 30 seconds in an elevator pitch, whatever, if you were dialing and I said, Scott Beardsley, can I help you? And you got a live one. You got me for 30 seconds. What's the pitch? You got me for 30 seconds. Say, hello, can I help you? Yeah, but here's mine. My name's Scott Beardsley. I'm a recruiter in Austin. I'm currently working with a product manager that has 10 years experience in the software space. I just met him the other day. This dude's super shiny, great communication skills. What's going on at your company? You interested in someone like this? No, Scott. I'm not looking for product managers at this time. Oh, really, Harry? What are you looking for? I need more software engineers. Okay. I mean, here's another scenario. Hey, my name's Scott. I'm currently representing a product manager with 10 years experience, blah, blah, blah. Click. I'll get you again, sucker. Next call. Next call. Hey, my name's Scott. I'm currently representing. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Does he have a degree? Of course he has a degree. What do you think? Yep. He can interview with you next Tuesday. I'll send you his resume today. I'll get a contract over to you. See ya. Click. By the end of the day, I'm doing biz. Oh, again, if you were in my company, you'd have to do that as a recruiter, right? You'd have to sit down and say, okay, my job today is to make cold calls and reach out to companies and say, hello, I got this killer candidate here. I think you should interview. In this case, it's you. You know, you get 30 seconds. Hey, thanks for answering. My name's Scott. I just thought I'd reach out to you. The reason I'm calling is because this. And here's who I am. And I understand here's you are. And here's what I'm asking for.
Woody can do it. I've heard him do it.
Just got to have one.
Not putting you on the spot or anything.
All right, dude. No, geez. So again, it's setting the mindset. You see, most of all this is just a little bit of a jolt to the, even recruiters that I trained that came to work at my company that signed up to be a recruiter are a little shy for me. I say, you got to call this person right now. You got to get them there, but they're at work. What? What do you think this is? Are you going to be? We're not customer service, dude. Get on the phone. Right? Like you have to, it's different to be in this world. And you just want to add this edge to your job search. You need to not be passive. You need to be aggressive. And know, and you need to love yourself and promote yourself. You need to get out of the mindset that, well, I gotta get, what? I'm thinking this. How could you not want to talk to me? Get in the right mindset. All right, then make a plan. So if you're your most placeable candidate, what's your plan? I mean, some people don't have a plan, and again, the plan could be, hey, I just want to get a job. That's fine too. Others say, I want to get a job in product management, to be specific. Others want a job in software that makes chips. So whatever your direction is, make a plan. Start off with a conceptual category that you're in, and this is what I would do as a recruiter. I'd say, first of all, I got this killer here who's a 10-year product manager. I'm going to choose them as my NPC. Now, I got to make a marketing plan for this person. So what companies, first, what geographical location does this person want to be in? What kind of companies do they want to be in? Are they enterprise type? Are they big company? Are they nonprofit? Are they startup-y? Do they want to be in a small, fast company? Do they want to be in a big kind of Dell? What's the work-life balance of this person? Are they a workaholic, startup type, or are they I need to go home at 5, Farm Credit Bank? There's all these
You want
different...
a job that you actually like. That's what I want to hear about.
You know, you got to love the one you're with. That's just, if you got a job, love it.
No, bad answer.
Then don't have it.
Bad answer.
All right, well-
How do you target
Oh, how do you...
companies where the culture, I'm not
Yeah.
loyal to anybody.
So how do you know the
How do
culture's
you
good?
target a company that has a culture where your boss is not gonna say it,
I don't know.
where the work atmosphere is, you know that you belong in that team, you know that you can walk in there and you belong there.
That's a rare thing. And again, if you have that, then...
And you have the
you know,
skills
yeah.
and the attitude for that job. I see people sending resumes everywhere,
Yeah.
but they don't target what's fit for them.
It's hard to target culture. It's...
Well, not just that.
But here's what you could do. In general terms, you can target culture. Like, for example, the state has a certain reputation for cultural aspects. And like at the state there, and I said Farm Credit Bank earlier, like you could literally target those kinds of companies if your mission is to have like a easier like work
Mission,
like
that's the key word.
yeah.
Mission.
But if your mission was like, say, I don't care if I have to work 1,000,000 hours a day, I want to make it, you know, I want to get stock options and work at a startup, and I want to travel. So if you're targeting, like, so to your point now, if you say, I just want to target a good job where I could work here and have a good work-life balance.
That I like.
Well, see, you don't know that till you get it. That's the fine line.
You can get, when you're doing the interview, you should be asking questions after their interview.
I'm not arguing with you, but how the heck do you find out? So my point is, how do you get to the point of finding out if it's a good culture or not?
Research.
Yes.
Talk to people on not Facebook, LinkedIn that work there.
Too much
See what
work.
they'll talk-
First you have to make a plan for the kind of companies you want to work at. So I know there's companies out there that don't hire product managers, and there's companies that do hire product managers. How would I be able to find out a list of companies right now that hire product managers? Anyone know? In Austin.
Look for companies that post product manager listings.
Possibly. Well, I mean, I know I can, that's what I do. That's old school. I make a list of everyone who's posting, but I don't care if they have an open job today or not. I just know that one day they were posting for product managers and they're a software company. But what if I even asked modern day technology? What if I said, hey, ChatGPT, what are all the companies in Austin that are hiring product managers? And what if it gave me a list and it said AMD, Blueware, Blue IP, XYZ, ABC, and you said, okay, there's a start. There's at least a list of companies I know that are in the range, and then I whittle it down and I say, and they're the kind of companies I'd like to target to work at. I don't know about their culture, but I heard they were decent. And so at least at a high level, these are the companies I want to target. Now you have to actually put their names on that list. Let's pretend one of them is Blue IP. Blue IP is one of the companies you want to target. I don't know much. I'm doing some research. I'm doing some Glassdoor. I don't see anything bad yet. That doesn't tell, but I don't see any red flags yet. And I say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and target them. Now you think at this point, I'm going to apply. And you probably want to do that too. But what would a headhunter do right there?
Get on the phone.
Would get on the phone. To who though? Pardon?
Find the right people to talk to.
Find the right people to talk to. What if you did that? What if you took one little research and you found the right person to talk to and was able to have a conversation with them? First of all, you're going to get a first-hand impression of this person. You're not going to hear any rumors about you're going to say, no, I just met this dude. They seem pretty cool. You're trying to have a conversation with the decision maker, but you're blocked by all this bureaucracy, right? And no one wants to just, they're protected because, everyone would just answer their phone if it was that easy. But how would you do it then? What research tools can you use to find out who at Blue IP, what kind of title would be looking for a product manager?
VP of product management.
A VP of product management? Starting to see the organizational chain? If I'm there's probably an organizational chain like that.
But what happens when they say you have to speak to someone in HR first?
I'm gonna they will 100%. No, they will 100%. So get ready for that. But when you do that, let's say that you do find the right person. Mary Smith is the VP of product at Blue IP, and I researched it, and that company seems like the kind of company I want to work at. I don't know if they're looking right now for product managers or not. I just know they're the kind of company I want to work at. They have a VP of product. Her name's Mary Smith. I found her at least on LinkedIn, and I'm going to at least make a request to connect. Am I right? As a starting point.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys write notes when you make a request to connect, but be careful not to write too much, because then it just goes. If you write a little note, hey, love your background. We'd love to connect with you. Looks like we have a lot in common.
For the note, it's like, I only normally do one sentence. Is that too little or is that good?
No, sentence is great. What I guess I mean is, don't say, hey, I saw you're looking for work. I would love to talk to you about a job. That's the immediate, not callback.
Give me a job, please.
I'm looking for work. I was wondering if I could talk to you. He's like, hey, you seem like you're having fun over there. Here's another thing I tell folks to do is reach out to someone in the company and say, hey, Shannon, I see you're in product. You mind if we connect? I have some questions about Blue IP. Shannon's an individual contributor. What does she have to lose? I'm not trying to get a job from her or nothing. And so we connect. And I say, hey, Shannon, how well do you know Mary Smith? Oh, she's killer. Really? Is she a good person to work for? I was actually considering, if you're being cocky mindset, I was actually maybe considering bringing my talent to your company. I don't know if I should, though. I mean, what are you guys all about? See, it's a posturing thing. Even though I'm sitting over here saying, man, I need a job. I'm more saying, look, I'm good. Why do I got to be second to you? I'm good. I offer something here. So can you, what do you think? Is Mary cool? Because if she's not, I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm too good. So the posture is, hey, I'm checking you all out. Could you tell me a little bit what it's like working for Mary before I even apply? They go, oh crap, no, Mary is killer. And if you hear that, now you're getting some insights into real employees. And you can also say, well, would you rather me give you my resume? Maybe you can hand it straight to Mary and get your employee referral bonus or something. Do you think you can do that for me? Once I establish a little bit of a relationship, if I connect with someone and they're chit-chatting with me, telling me it's a cool place to work. What if Shannon gets back to me and says, run to the hills. These people are terrible. I have my resume out. I would never work for this toxic place. I've heard that before. Because sometimes when you ask, they're going to tell you. It's the network, not the hiring manager. The hiring manager says, I got the best job in the world. But, ask their employees, how cool it is to work there. That's how you do it. But so you're mixing, you're triangulating. So my target guy is Mary Smith. I need to reach her. My goal is to get a conversation with Mary. And you know how hard that is. So secondarily, how can I reach other people around Mary that might lead me to Mary? And again, how much work am I willing to put in to go to work at Blue IP? This is a lot of work. I heard Shannon say it this morning. How much time are you blocking out to this? I block out about 12 hours a day. So I don't know about you, but it takes all day for me to do this. Now, if you block out some dedicated time and you start to try to reach Mary, it just takes some real work. But if Blue IP is not that exciting to you, that's why not to start with that company. You didn't apply to Blue IP when they have a posting. Apply and see what comes up. But this company over here that's on your target list, you need to think like a headhunter for. You need to make networking connections. You need to try to get a phone call with the manager of the department. You need to find out if you can have relationships with the subordinates of the manager of the department. Okay, now HR. HR is put in to not let you do that. Because how are they going to get any work done if they're talking to you all day? See what I mean? So they say, oh, talk to my HR people. Because managers get overrun with this. But that's what you let them know. Mary, I just wanted to reach out to you. Of course I applied. I believe your HR generalist's name is Sam Smith. I sent a note to him as well. Made a request to connect. I respect the process. But I want to have a conversation with you. I'd like to just get 10 minutes of your time. Okay, check. Maybe the next day, email me the next day. Mary, I called a couple days ago. I hope you don't mind me following up. I just wanted to see if I can get a couple minutes of your time. If not, I truly understand. Again, I don't want to burn any bridges here, just trying to catch you. You wouldn't believe how many people will call you and talk to you if you just tried. 1 or 2 attempts. 99% of everyone tries it once. And then it goes away. It's like a wave goes. And then 3 lonely people try it twice. And you go, oh, look at that. And then one person, and I'm talking about Scott Beardsley, I get like 100 people a day must reach out saying, Scott, I'd like to talk to you about this or something like that. And I just don't have the bandwidth. And then some people will reach out twice. Scott, I called you yesterday. I'd really like to have a call with you. I said, ooh, you got my attention. And I promise you, something in me makes me call that person back. I'm just like everybody else out there. So again, you can call me once, whatever. It's like a telemarketer. Anyone ever get a telemarketing call? And did they ever call you back the second day and say, hey, I called you yesterday. The reason I called you was this. I'm calling you about something important here, Woody. Who does that? They don't have the time to make it that personal. They're just blasting off calls. So that's what they get. That's what I think you're doing when you call me once. I'm just one of your 50 calls that day. Call me twice, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, she really needs my help. He really needs to talk. he really has something to talk about. And so that really works, is the persistence. All right. So all that was saying is identify your target markets, software, chip, whatever the markets are. Then identify some really good companies in there. Then identify some really cool people by titles that work in there. And now you have a MPC marketing plan. Now.
Scott, I was just going to say that phone calls, people don't think of phone calls anymore. They just think of emails. And that's maybe why a call makes a difference too.
You wouldn't believe it, as a recruiter trainer, how much positive feedback I get from my team because they call people. And I'm talking about candidates too. You can always check out our website. We have testimony after testimonial after testimonial of candidates and clients saying, these folks always call us back. They're the most transparent, communicative group, because that's the key to it all. We still believe in the phone. And they say, we're so happy that you just picked up the phone and called me. Or candidates that say, I call sometimes on a Thursday and say, hey, this is Scott. Just letting you know I didn't hear back from the client yet, but I just letting you know, have a good weekend. They're like, just that phone call made a difference. Imagine your car being in a service company for 5 days and you don't know what's going on and you have to call, hey, is my car ready yet? Isn't that a pain? What if they called you on Thursday and say, your car's 95% done, here's what's going on, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna have it by Monday, and they preempted that. That communication is key to any customer service.
Now,
Yes.
I have a question for you. What you're saying, like one of the places I'm applying is the city of Austin, and they say apply, but they don't have a follow-up. I mean, so what are you supposed to do in a case like that?
Yep, that's why when you apply, you're toast, you know. So you're going into the void of applications, and you're going to play the lottery in there, and that's fine. You can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. But to go like a headhunter, to go one step beyond now, city, I'd find these fine ladies that were here. That's my starting point, and then I'd say, well, then I'd start getting after, okay, the city's on my list. Here's a list of people in the city I'm going to start networking and making friends with and talking to and apply. But I'm going to get back to, then I'm going to start asking, hey, who in HR could I talk to? And you just keep expanding your network. You can't, yes.
I'd like to, this is a freebie, guys. There is a tool called Hunter, H-U-N-T-E-R.io, and it will get you email addresses. So if you are second level connected to somebody or you're not connected at all on LinkedIn, and you're like, oh, okay, I know their name, I know the title, I know their company, and you have to know their name and their company, and then you have to register, you have to sign up to be, to have an account with them. But I think I've had 5 emails in the last 7 years from them.
What's the name of that, please?
Hunter, Hunter.io. That's one of the things you can find in the member portal.
I will.
And that way you will be able to get their email address. And it will let you know if it'll give you like, 98% for sure, because it's all AI, of course, that's their email address. Other thing is that I do, because I was in sales before all this, is if I look at a company and they have like so many different iterations, most companies are like first letter, last name at IBM.com. But if they're one of those new startups that's like Cool Reed at coolguys.com, because he's the first one that founded it, but then you get down and you got Susie, Parker so I will put every iteration of what I think that email address is in this subject line. The one that didn't bounce back to me is probably the one that hit.
That's all absolutely true, and the tools are getting smarter and smarter out there. I use one called Apollo.ai or Apollo.io, and it's kind of the same thing. I pay for it, not that much, but I could find anyone's work phone, cell phone, and email. If you're out there, I got it.
Yeah, this one is free. Hunter is free, but I think you get like 30 searches a month. So then you have to pay.
Yeah, there's.
Scraps.io, which does the same thing. You can verify the email address.
Look into these types of things. There's lots of variations, but see, now you're thinking like a headhunter, because you got to get their email address. Because guess what? Everyone else applied. Someone took the time to find the email address. Someone took the time to send 3 iterations of it because they were trying to figure it out. Somebody hit the bell with an email, and the rest of you all didn't. Somebody got an interview, and the rest of you all said, no one's responding. That's the difference. That's kind of one of the key messages of thinking like an headhunter. Find them. Don't say, I don't have their email address. Well, no kidding. Find them. Scrap. Call me. Hey, Scott, do you have any contacts at AMD that do software for chips? Yeah, I do. Who do you want?
I always do read receipt for something like that.
Yeah.
Because to me, it pops up on the front of their screen, like, oh God, okay, fine. You know, and then if they don't do it, but you still send them another one, and they're like, okay, fine, whatever. You know, I'll finally, read it.
Perfect. All right. So now you have to work your marketing plan. We were just talking about that. To speed it up, one thing about working a marketing plan or a sales plan, if you're selling now and you're going to start making cold calls, something dreaded for some people happened, which is you actually get a live one on the phone. Now what are you going to do? And believe me, I could in my 38th year, I can get tripped up here. And it's just natural. So if you will get tripped up, it's never going to go away, I guess. That should be comforting. But you should try to be as prepared as you can. I heard a lot of talk today about getting mock interviews. That's great. You should do that because you should practice that. But what about mock sales pitches? Like, what is if I did answer the phone right now, and you wanted to pitch yourself as a product manager that you think that you could bring value to me, what is it? So again, if you think about that, what would you say? Hey man, I'm Scott. I got 38 years of recruiting. I build recruiting teams from scratch. I've helped companies generate revenues from X to Y. You should talk to me. I mean, what's your, now you got someone on the phone. And again, what is your ask when you get someone on the phone? Is it to get a job? What do you think the ask is?
10 minutes of their time.
Had a conversation.
And what do you want 10 minutes of my time for? In the end, it is to do what?
Pitch yourself.
Worry about the company.
To get an interview.
Get the decision.
You want to win the interview. When you're in sales, you prospect. To prospect, you have a ratio. How many calls, how many attempts to reach, how many actual contacts, and of the people that you contacted, did you win or lose? And you're not going to win them all. I win like 1 out of every 20 maybe. So your ask to win though is, hey, well, I just need 10 minutes of time. I'd like to tell you a little bit about me, learn a little bit about you, see if it makes sense for us to potentially meet. Great, go. Okay, well first let me just quickly introduce myself. Let me switch it around. Let me learn a little bit more about what's going on in your world. Do you think it makes sense to meet? Yes, can we meet next week? You're closing for a meetup. Well, you got to go through our HR department. I will. I already applied. Who should I cut? I just want to know if I can meet you too. They could say no. You could still ask. They could say yes. You'll be like, well, damn. How about tomorrow? Sure. What if they say yes? And by tomorrow, you're sitting down talking to a decision maker. It does happen just like that. All day long. But it's not that easy either. It's a lot of grit. Like I have to do that a lot all day just to get some positive hits. So imagine you doing it for yourself. You have X companies that you're applying for because they're worth applying, but you're not doing much more than that. But you have your next tier companies that are targets. You're willing to get hard work for those ones. You don't even care if those ones have openings right now. You just want to work at companies like that. So you're targeting them and you're getting used to pitching yourself. If someone came up to you today in this meeting when this is over and said, hey, so you're looking for work, what's your pitch? You should be able to go, I'm a 15-year veteran that does this. I've had companies like that. I've got awards for this, and here's how I add value. I heard someone earlier, Shannon said, the last thing in the world, no, someone said, oh, it was the guest. The last thing in the world to say is I need a job. It's like, well, good. How does that help me? You just called me. You can't call with your hand open. Like, what's in there? What's in your hand? And is it valuable to me? That's it. Don't ever call saying, hey, I need something. You know what? I'm calling you because I have this thing, and you probably want it. If not, it's your problem because this is good. So, could we talk? You have to have that mindset. And why not? Why not? Aren't you good? Who dares tell you you're not? Yeah, not that manager, not your last freaking manager. It's you. So just bring that and make sure you pitch yourself, man. People love that. That energy is contagious. Tell you another thing, it's a drag. And someone's sitting there, you're interviewing with them, you're like, at the end of this interview, I'm gonna go have a beer. I'm so depressed. You don't want that. You want like, nah. And it is a game. You don't know if I was driving to work today and my wife and I had a horrible fight and I'm sick and my poor sister. I'm Scott on the phone right now. I have to do my job. And when you're finding a job, you got to shake whatever's going on. You got to get in your mind and you got to go pitch yourself and you got to love yourself and you got to be a salesperson, be a headhunter. So these are the prospecting techniques. See, lots of stuff on there. Another great way of staying connected with people is follow them, like their comments, comment on their stuff. Just get cozy with people. Sir?
Yeah, that last point on the left column there's that nagging anxiety in the back of my head about what you're talking about. You're saying, they'll ignore the first call because they think it's just a spam call, but they'll pay attention to your second or whatever. But there's always that fear of getting blocked or blacklisted for doing too much and being annoying or whatever.
Yep.
Where's the balance there? Where is making sure that what you're
Great
doing
question.
is
I-
careful but also still putting that effort?
I love that. I worry about that to this day. It's kind of you have to play the field, like you have to know where the boundaries are. But as a rule of thumb, 3. I'm Scott. Hey, I'm Scott. And all right, I'm Scott. I don't want to burn any bridges. We'll talk some other time. That's typically it. It's like, I called you. Hey, I called you, man. And then, all right, apparently you don't want to play. At least not today, but I'm coming back.
And would you find that rule of 3 to be different depending on the method of communication, calls versus messages or emails?
Yeah, that's where I say you got to play the edges. So if you felt you sent 3 really good emails, you're done. You know what I mean? Or if one was an email followed by a call, at some point you have to have the breakup message.
Yeah, that's when you say, this is the last time I'm calling, or this is
For now.
emailing, yeah.
I normally say, this isn't the last time I'm calling you. I usually say, I'm going to leave you alone for now, but I will be back. I will find you, like that tax lady on the commercials. So it's like, again, you just want to let them know. So even if someone said, damn, if I don't call this pesky Shannon back, she's going to keep, God dog it. So he calls, I'm like, let me get this over with. This is Scott Beardsley. Can we do this thing? Come on, let's get it over with. I'm not hiring. I am so happy we talked. I had no idea you were who you were. You know what? I don't have an opening right now, but you're on my list. It happens every time. It's people, not paper. No one wants to look at your resume, that lion thing that AI wrote. I want to see who you are. That's it. It's a personal connection. And no one owes you anything. So go earn it, you know what I mean? All right. So you make the pitch. If you're actually reaching out to people, make sure it's short, man. Okay? Pitch. They call it an elevator pitch for a reason. Trying to get from floor 1 to floor 2 in enough time it takes to make your pitch. What's your ask? As I mentioned, it's this ID meeting. An ID meeting means introduction, discovery, in 2 things for every first meeting. Hey, I want to quickly introduce myself, discover a little about you, see if it makes sense for us to get together. Something like that, whatever your style is. I want to give you a brief introduction to who I am and how I help companies like you. I want to find out a little bit about you and what's going on at your company. See if it makes sense for us to talk further. Nope, not hiring right now. Common objection. What are you going to say? I didn't think you were. So what? I still want to talk to you. I didn't call and ask for a job. See? That's a weird objection. Are you hiring? No. Okay. I said, I didn't even say that. I said, I just wanted to meet and see what's going on at your company. See? As a sales guy, a lot of times they say, Scott, we can't use an agency right now. I say, great. I'm not telling you nothing. I just wanted to have a conversation. And again, you have to disarm them. Did you ever go to Dillard's or Nordstrom's and you're looking at a rack of clothes and a sales guy comes up to you and you're like, can I help you? No, I'm just looking. It's like, what are you scared of, man? If people just have a fear of being sold to or something. But once you disarm them that, you realize, I'm not here, let's here to talk, man. So I'm not here to sell you nothing. So if your common objection is, I'm not hiring, say, great, I'm not looking. Now, can we please have a conversation? You got to talk to HR. I will, because I just have a conversation with you. Just want to ask you a couple questions, and I'll certainly go through your process. I'll respect the process. But could I just have a conversation with you for a minute? Well, I only got 5 minutes. Great, I only need 2. What other objection can you possibly give me for not wanting to talk to me for a couple minutes? Besides, you just talked to me for a couple minutes telling me why you can't talk to me. It will work. And again, it's so, what if you win? Well, why are you on the market? What do you say? Well, what if they ask you, what color shirt are you wearing? What's that? The reason I'm saying this is, any question under the sun means they're interested. Any question under the sun, you got them. Just start reeling it in. Don't go crazy, you'll blow it. The fish is off the hook. But reel it in. How long have you been out of work? Well, Well, how about this? How about that? Anyway, hey, listen, I promise you this will be a short call. Wait, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Can we meet? Can I come by the office? Whatever the next move is. So if you win, reel it in. Don't be scared. Say, hey, look, it looks like we have something going on here. You're welcome. All right, rock on, product manager. Look, recruiter. So what if you lose? No, look, I don't want to meet with you. I have no interest whatsoever. How much more blunt could I be? What do you say now? Of course. Yeah, well, I hope you have a better day. Certainly not bringing me down. I almost want to do something physical here, but I won't do it because I'm in a nice. But if I was on my phone, I know what I'd be doing in my phone. I'd be saying, you have no idea who you're not getting now. They used to say, in my old days training recruiters, they used to say, sorry, Scott, we don't use agencies. What do you mean you don't use agencies? Who's your boss? I'm going to tell them that you're that lame that you don't use agencies. They're like, well, wait, slow down. I mean, it was ruthless in the 80s. Everything's way soft now, trust me. I'm a nice man. I'm a nice man. I just know how not to get beat by other people that have other agendas. My agenda comes first. So document and measure, meaning I made the phone call. How do I know if I'm on call number 2 with the dude if I didn't document it? And how do I know if call number 2 is 7 days or 10 days or 15 days away? Because if it's greater than 7 days, it might as well be call number 1 again. You got to hit them in like boom, boom, boom. And then maybe take 2 weeks out and then come back. Boom, boom, boom. And then take a month off. How bad do you want to work at Blue IP? Come back, 1, 2, 3. They're going to say, who is this dude? And it'll work. And then just keep going. I know we had some questions. Bless you. Any other thoughts? I didn't think that'd be that long. I wanted to just answer some questions.
You talk a lot about self-confidence, but I mean, self-confidence is something you have to learn.
I wonder. I mean, I'm no doctor. I don't know anything about the realities of stuff, but no one's going to tell me what I can think. I mean, I don't know where it comes from, but I say, why not right now? What's stopping you right now?
If you're desperate enough, you'll be confident. I mean, I was talking to Scott before the meeting, telling him my first job out of school, I was a music major. I was a voice performance major, and I didn't want to go to grad school. I realized I didn't want to sing opera, and I thought, oh my God. And so I went to, this is in Dallas, I went to a company called Diversified Human Resources Group. They were a staffing agency. I said, this is how stupid I was. I'm sitting across from a woman, and she's interviewing me, and she's, I think you'd be good for admin. Well, I thought admin then meant that I was going to go be with the people who are, creating like ad campaigns. I think it was
Awesome.
straight commission, just like Scott. First job out of school, I worked 7 days a week. I was 5 days a week at this company, 2 days a week at a real estate company, answering the phones, partying my ass off because I was 22. So half asleep half the time. But and this is '89, so yeah, no computers. 30 calls a day, at least 2 job orders, and I had to interview candidates. And if you don't think that I got on that phone, I opened up the yellow pages or the white pages. I went on my weekends, I would go to office buildings or office parks and I would look at the directory because I wanted to know what companies were in there so I could call them first. And I was their top salesperson in that office because I wasn't going to take no for an answer. Yeah, and so, but I didn't start off with any confidence. I was just like, oh my gosh. In fact, I was so bad at it my first month that this office that I was in was really, really rocking and rolling. And the lady that interviewed me, she's like, I think I'm gonna send you over with Tammy. She's a little bit more, because this office was just like, they were cutthroat. And Tammy's office was a little more laid back, and that's where I thrived. So all I'm saying is that you're not gonna know how confident you are until you just do it.
Or and why not? I mean, you fake it till you make it. Say you're great right now. I'm sorry. Questions? And then I'll jump back in.
So I feel like, how do you translate this plan into like public institutions where I feel like this is very industry corporate focused, but like in public institutions, public offices, they really have to follow a very rigid HR system.
Or do they? I have 100 friends in the universities, state, anything you can imagine. Like right now, Texas State University, if you were interested in a job there, I'd call Dina Townsend and hand her your resume. Talk about bureaucracy, you'd be on the top of the list. That happens every day, so yeah.
I feel like I've kind of, yeah, I feel
Oh,
like
feds, I don't deal.
I've done that approach, but it hasn't really yielded results.
One thing about it I noticed about that category, that group, is they're slow. They're slower than corporate to play this back game with you. So you have to be even more aggressive in those companies. They're a little bit less that. See, Holmes? Oh, okay. You know what I mean? So.
I feel like what you're saying is like there's really no rules. The only rules is rules up in your head.
That's right. Someone told you something, and so if you believe it, and now it's not true. And then, so I'm going to get to these questions, but that's the competence thing. I don't know if it all starts with, it's not confidence, it's just love. How could you not say, I love myself, I'm so glad I'm here, I did some great things, and I offer a lot to some, I'm good for something. That's the start. But back here, he started first.
I just want to say that this is exactly what I needed to hear today.
Nice.
Be a motivational speaker.
Yeah, I was just thinking that you should be a motivational speaker. I knew this like 20 years back when I graduated from college. Somebody gave similar speech to me, and I was shy, not self-confident, but I was desperate. I had student visa, I had 6 months left to find a job, but that desperation and hearing that, and the book he gave me was called What Color Is Your Parachute? And it talked about similar stuff. And I did it, and I got a job. But I think over the years, I got soft, and with all this AI and everything, I changed my whole spiel in my head, like, no, it doesn't work like that anymore. I gotta apply it. I gotta just do it online. But
Nope.
It's great to hear what you're saying.
Yes.
This is what still works today.
Still works today.
You know Gary O'Neill, right?
Gary O'Neill?
Okay, Gary O'Neill is a huge recruiter in town, and he has spoken to the job club many times. And I remember one time he got up and he said, do you know how many phone calls I get a month from candidates? 2.
Told you.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, he's one of my proteges that I trained from scratch.
I believe it.
But yeah, I mean, so I've been around like a donut. But you're right, though. You're right. I'd say, but the ones who call me, I mean, let me talk about Woody for a second. Not only, I mean, I get 1 billion candidates. This dude stuck out, got another dude, end up talking to him, end up saying, let's get a beer. I mean, now I'm investing time. Now you're going to cost me a couple $1,000s. Really. Okay, let's go have a beer. But we did.
Yeah.
And then we're hanging out, and I noticed that there's a bunch of, everyone has these crazy blankets, and I didn't have one. I'm like, why does everyone has a towel around here, and I don't have one? I was just making, because I'm that kind of person, I was just making a ruckus. It was some kind of promotional day where everyone got like this promotional blanket. I didn't know it. 2 days later in my office, there was that blanket sitting on my chair. I said, look at this. This is that blanket from the freaking beer garden. Yeah, and that stuck out. That'll go for the rest of my life. It sticks out. You know, that little stuff works. And it'll make a difference. If you want to make a difference, you can. You just got to actually take the little extra steps, man. Send that little note. Get a card. Send something in the mail. Call the receptionist and say, could I talk to John Smith? You'd be shocked how many times they transfer you. And they answer. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Yeah?
I was just thinking about the question to do with self-confidence.
Yeah?
And I think,
Yeah.
but it's a good question.
Thank you.
Because everybody is not extroverted.
So,
To me, you have to know your worth. For me, if I apply for a job, I have read through the job description, and I have picked out in it what I'm good at. So that when I talk to someone, communicate in any form, I can say, I've done that and I love doing it and I'm good at it. And that's self-confidence, but you have to know your worth. It's an introspective look at yourself.
and you have to know your worth, generally speaking, not just against that job description, but if I was to look in the mirror today by myself and say, I can't confidently say that I'm an A player, then what am I going to do about it? So if I'm going to acknowledge that I'm not an A player, then I could then I'm going to wallow then. Now I'm happy. I'm going to happily be a B player the rest of my life, and just that's it. I give up. But if I don't give up and I say no, I might not be an A player right now. I don't know where I got off track. I don't know how this happened, but I'm going to do this from starting freaking now. You got to start. Especially, I mean, you can't. No one's going to hire you if you don't even believe in yourself. And again, I don't care if you love doing that. What's in it for me? So, you said you're good at it. That's what I heard. That's the thing. And also, I want to hear other stuff. I know 100 people that are good at it. Would you be any fun to work with? Or are you going to be a pain in the ass for 8 hours while you're doing your good job? It matters who you are.
Then they can talk to my references.
That's, well, what you want to tell me, though, is I come to work, I'm reliable, I'm low maintenance, I get along, I learn fast. That's what I want to hear.
But when you give them references, they can also ask the other person.
Certainly.
Because of course you're going to.
There's no, hey, if you have a reference that's beautiful,
That's another step.
Yeah, it is.
yeah. But just to get that, if you want to get that confidence piece again, it's just, what do I have to offer? And again, everyone has something to offer. This is no different than maybe in personal relationships or friendships and stuff. It's like, man, don't let anyone define you, man. Go be the president of the United States. What's stopping you?
Nothing at this point.
I wouldn't do it. All right, well, that was just Q&A. I know I got a little bit rowdy. Everyone
You
good?
don't have to have requirements for them.
So I would say connect with Scott. Make sure you connect with him on LinkedIn.
This is something that you could have later, but I thought, yeah.
You get his phone number, guys. What recruiters give you their phone numbers?
I do.
He's not a
He's the
recruiter.
rocket recruiter.
He's a headhunter.